Hello everyone. Here we have a problem composed by Alexy Troitsky in the year 1927. White is to play and win, but black has a pawn on a2, and black is sure that if the rook is sacrificed for the queen, it will be a draw. Can black save himself, or does white have some other plans? So let us see. Suppose if white goes for the pawn with rook to a3, black has a clever move of knight to c2, attacking the rook, protecting the queen's a1 square. The trap here is if the rook takes the pawn, knight to b4 check forks the king and the rook. Next move takes the rook, and the two knights will not be able to beat the black king. Coming back to the starting position, so now what is white to do? Knight to f5 check. The king can come to h5 or to h7. Here if the king comes to h5, black king is boxed, has got only one square where it is standing, and white can just deliver mate. But how? Knight to h3, threatening mate by rook to g5. If black queens, rook to g5 is mate. If black protects the g5 square by knight to f3, knight to f4 is mate. So now here, instead of coming to h5, where black easily loses, black prefers going to h7. King to h7. Now, rook to g7 check. The king has only one move, king to h8. And now the rook goes after the a2 pawn, rook to a7. As previously told, the knight comes to c2, again threatening to take the rook by a 4 if white takes the pawn. But white has a very clever move here. First, white plays rook to a8, check. The king has only one move, king to h7. This tempo which white has gained now will be useful in the ending. That we'll see in the end, how this tempo is going to be useful. King moves to e6. The pawn promotes and rook takes the pawn. Sorry, the rook takes the queen. In return, knight takes the rook. White's move, what should white move? The second knight is far away from the king, and the king will escape anywhere, and once the king escapes from the corner, white knights will not be able to make the king. So white goes with king to f7, boxing the black king in the corner, the last two squares, h8 and h7. The knight would like to come to the aid of the king. So knight moves to c2. Here, instead of c2, had the king gone to h8, we still get the same position because white will swiftly move the knight to f3 and from there jump to g5 and we'll get the same position. So now knight to c2 and the white knight moves to f3. Black has to exchange one of the knights, and if black succeeds, or even black succeeds in sacrificing his knight, it will be a draw. So knight moves to d4. Even though both the knights are fought, white has check in hand, knight to g5 check, and the king has only one move, h8. Now there is only one move white requires, but the knight should come into the position. So knight to e7. Again the black knight follows, asking to take itself. But here, white has a final move. Knight to g6, mate. Two knights were able to deliver mate only because the king was cornered and black had a piece where he had to give the tempo to white. If the black knight was not there, then in this position, black gets stalemate. So that is why to mate with two knights, you have to have an additional piece. Black has to have an additional piece, either a pawn or a knight or, or a bishop, which does not interfere or does not threaten the white pieces.